Welcome everybody. My name is Maralee Burnett. I am back again with the astrology for the week of August 4th. Unbelievably, another month has passed, and we of course have a lot of things to talk about this week, which will include a very big, very powerful full moon in the sign of Aquarius. So we'll do the breakdown for every sign this week to make sure that we get you fully prepared and ready for whatever it is that you want to bring to completion or fullness at this time. Of course, if you click on that subscribe button, then I'll get you fully prepared because you will get notification as soon as I post this new content, as well as go out to my website, maraleeburnett.com, and join me there as a member. That way you get access to all of the written content as well. So right now you should be out there taking a look at the whole breakdown for the month of August. And there's so much going on that you really do want to be listening to these video lessons along with it, because there's just like so much to even try to express through words. It's so difficult and complex right now that it just takes a lot of time to really get into all of the different activities that are going on energetically right now. And August is a pretty interesting month, of course, because they all are this year. So be sure and join me out there. You also, of course, have access to the full moon in Aquarius article that supports the energy this week as well. So let us, as usual, take a look through the AstroGold software and break it all down. And of course, if you work with me, you can book a session out there. Again, on my website, I do use this AstroGold software as we do our sessions as well, which I do over Zoom, and then walk you through all of the details of what is going on energetically. And that brings me a lot of joy. So thank you to those that do book sessions with me. I truly appreciate your time and your energy that we share as we do these sessions. So let's, with no further ado, move into Monday, August 4th. And I'm going to try to move pretty quickly through these energies so that we can spend a lot of time doing the breakdown of that full moon in Aquarius. So bear with me as we move a little quicker, and maybe Mercury will support us even though it's still retrograde. So Mercury will make it back to 4 degrees of Leo. So this week, between the 4th and the 11th, Mercury's slowing down and starting to finish its review wherever you've had this. And if you haven't done it yet, go listen to the weekly forecast where I gave you an explanation about that new moon in Leo and then about the Mercury retrograde in Leo. So there's some area in your life that's really been under a lot of intensity, right? The sun has been shining a spotlight on this particular area of your life for a reason. There should be things that you are learning, hopefully things that you're doing to reconnect with people from your past and having fun. And so we're still seeing that here on Monday. And we also see briefly the moon in the sign of Sagittarius is in a square with both the North Node and the South Node. So this is always a good opportunity to tune in and pay attention to your intuition, because there is guidance there. There might be adjustments that you need to make in order to get better aligned with the lessons of the North and South Node. North Node where we're moving towards, South Node where we're moving from, and there's some kind of tension in that work as we kick the week off on Monday. Okay, let us move ahead. I gotta move myself ahead so I can see to Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we are going to see this energy that I talked about a little bit last week. If you didn't, again, watch that video, you can always go back and watch it. This is the beginning of the activation of September's eclipse point. Now, in September, on the 21st, we're going to have a new moon solar eclipse that is extremely intense because it happens at 29 degrees of the sign of Virgo, following a 0 degree new moon in Virgo the month before. So there is some action that you need to take and that you may be guided to take that is all about preparing you for that upcoming new moon solar eclipse. Mars is action, it is motivation, and it may be motivating you to release something, to release some details. Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. As I mentioned earlier, it's still in retrograde, and it does cover all the details, all the facts. It's something about those details and facts that are being possibly exposed today, and what you learn, because Mercury is about learning and communicating, you can't ignore. You need to do something about it. And in fact, as this happens, the moon will be leaving the sign of Sagittarius, and as it does, it is forming this pressure between Mars, who's building up this opposition to Saturn and Neptune. And so, again, pay attention to your intuition. It is something that maybe you've been ignoring, and it will come up so strongly now you can't ignore it any further. And again, when we see T-squares, when we see squares, these are energies about change. So change is needed, and that change and what we need to do is going to come up in a way that's guided and intuitive. And there can be messengers that come to us through spirit with the direction that we need to take or move. So we see that starting here on Tuesday, and then I'm going to move us forward to Wednesday. And you will notice everything's looking the same. And I'm not talking about this kite formation yet because we're going to get into it in a minute. But this setup becomes even more intense on Wednesday as Mars gets to these last minutes of its time in Virgo. And there's always an intensity when any planet sits at 29 degrees. That's why that eclipse, which is already intense energy, will be even stronger when there's a new moon happening at 29 degrees, and it's a pretty strong eclipse. Plus, it's going to be South Node energy. So the South Node in Virgo is all the things that we've already done, we're really good at, and we need to move away from them, and we need to let go of them. We need to let go of our need for control, and we need to lean into faith, right? That is what Pisces energy is all about. It's what guides us, inspires us, makes us creative and artistic. So whatever is showing up on Wednesday, when that little voice says, let it go, let it go. Now, this can have things to do with health and healing, have things to do with your day-to-day life, your day-to-day activities, because Virgo is also aligned with the 6th house. And then, like I said, all of the facts, all of the details, all of the information, all your little checklists. If you've missed something on your checklist, it will come up today so that you don't miss it. But it's a really important day. So tune in the 5th and 6th. And if you really want to get connected to the energy so that you make sure you don't miss this opportunity, do something connected to the earth. Because of course, Virgo is an earth sign. You can work in your garden. You can literally take your shoes and socks off and go stand in the dirt. Connect with Mother Gaia, right? This is really important that you do something because Mars is action. And there will probably be a lot of action. There could be a lot of action with the actual Earth today because of some pressure that is mounting. So again, mark these dates on your calendar, the 5th and the 6th. The 6th will be even more intense, and see where you're being guided to let something go, to start something new. You'll have to tell me in the comments later what ends up coming up for you at this time. And I'll let you know if anything major comes up for me as well. This will be especially intense for anybody with planets at 29 degrees of Virgo, or in the opposite direction, 29 degrees of Pisces, and so on. I happen to have one of those. So again, if I have anything of note to share, I will come back and share it with you as well. So that is Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as we move ahead to Thursday, we are seeing now that Mars has moved into the sign of Libra. Now, Mars spends about 6 weeks in each of the signs, giving us a real workout. When we think about Libra, then the workout is something to do with relationships, relating to other people, restoring fairness, restoring peace and balance. And it can be things to do with like restoring the law. These are legal issues that could come up and be highlighted over the next 6 weeks as well. So we're just going to see, whenever a planet hits that 0 degrees, the introduction to the storyline for the next 6 weeks, wherever you have Libra energy in your chart. It is being activated, and you want to pay attention and work on it. Specifically, if you are looking for a new partnership, now is the time to expend the energy, Mars, to acquire that partnership. If you want to revive a partnership, again, you have to take action. Mars is a warrior. You have to fight for what you want. And so we may see a lot of protests over the next 6 weeks because of Mars being in the sign of Libra and people wanting to fight for justice. So that is the energy of Mars in the sign of Libra. And then what we're going to talk about here on Friday is this kite formation that is setting up here. Now, it's, as you've seen, it's been forming the entire week. It is now on Friday where it reaches a peak. And if you hear my stories that I like to tell, I always say when you think about a kite, it doesn't get off the ground without some pressure. And so this opposition between that Mars energy in Libra and this Saturn and Neptune energy in Aries that is in retrograde is where we're seeing the battle, the tension. And remember, Mars is a warrior. It wants to run free. It wants to do what it wants. And Saturn is that energy that likes to restrict Mars and tells it to slow down. So there's some conflict here where that gas pedal and the brake they're fighting for dominance. And so there is a struggle. But instead of shying away from the struggle, and we look at Neptune's energy here, Neptune and Saturn in Aries represent the self, what we are looking to do to rebuild our self-confidence, for instance. And Neptune, of course, ruler of Pisces, helps us have more faith in ourselves. And then Saturn helps us be more disciplined in following the plan that we set out for ourselves. And that's very independent energy, and it's retrograde, so it has us focusing inward. And then we have that Mars energy in Libra. So this is a battle between self and others. Myself and what I want and what my partner wants in my relationship. So there is, again, somebody who wants my time and attention, Mars in Libra, and what I want and what I desire for myself. And there's some conflict there. But out of this conflict, when we learn to balance those needs, becomes this huge opportunity. And this is what lifts our kite off the ground. Now, in order to form this kite formation, we have to have the opposition, which is those poles that create the tension that help lift your kite. And then we have to have a Grand Trine. And this is a Grand Air Trine. And of course, we need air to lift a kite up off the ground. So this is the big ideas. This is the information. This is the innovative information with the influence of Uranus in Gemini. It's now moved to the 1 degree, so it's time to start new things. And Pluto in Aquarius, which is still working behind the scenes, activating groups of people, even technology. And of course, Uranus rules Aquarius. So you have the ruler of Aquarius speaking in harmony with a planet that's visiting the space. So they're working together. And then they're working, of course, with Mars. So this is the big ideas. This may be the announcement of some new type of partnership, some new agreements. Collectively, this could be some new trade conversations, for instance, that are coming up. It could also be information from the past about groups. So a trine is something that gives you a big opportunity. And if you take advantage of the energy, you will be very successful. When I'm working with people who are rich and successful, they're often born with a trine and they have really worked hard to succeed. Otherwise, the trine is there, but if you don't do anything with it, like I said, if you don't lean into this tension, it's a great opportunity. But if you're too afraid, Pluto and Aquarius, to take advantage of it, nothing will happen and nothing will change. The other part of this is the formation of this mini triangle at the top of our kite. And this brace of support, as I mentioned, in the Grand Air Trine is also a part of this minor triangle. And this is something that will be with us for a long time. It is getting stronger with Pluto coming backwards, and so are Saturn and Neptune, and now, of course, we have Uranus. So these are all the big outer planets, right? They play with the energy of the collective, and they really work behind the scenes, right? These are things that are out of bounds, that we can't see, that we can feel them and we can sense them. And we sense all the turmoil that is going on in the world right now. And we have to trust that there's a reason for it. There is a deconstruction phase that is actually going on. And this might be one of those times where we start to see part of that story unfold and start to understand what's possible going forward. But again, you are the one that has to take advantage of this opportunity and lift it up off of the ground. So another important day. And of course, they call this 8/8 the Lion's Gate. Now, there is a lot of conflicting beliefs out there about the Lion's Gate. But the only belief that matters is yours. So do you think 8/8 is a powerful number as far as numerology goes? It absolutely is. Is there really a Lion's Gate? It doesn't matter. It matters that this energy of the 8 is about strength and leadership. And when it's doubled, your opportunity, your power, if you choose to connect to it, is also doubled. So no matter what you believe or think, take advantage of Friday 8/8 because there is something major opportunity for you. Now, it's even more major, of course, if you have planets in this 0, 1, 2 degrees. You could even go to 29, 28. But those of you with planets in these same locations, of course, are going to feel this even more intensely. So you specifically, this kite is for you. This Grand Air Trine is for you, and you need to do something with it, and you will be really glad that you did. So that is Friday, liftoff day. let's move on to Saturday. And what we're seeing, of course, is the continuation of this kite energy. But we're also starting to see the formation of this envelope. And when I look at these envelopes, I look at them as news and information that is being brought to us, that's being delivered to us. And again, you have to open the envelope. You have to decipher the information that is contained within and then do something with it. So, Mercury in retrograde is opposing Pluto as part of this formation. So, there is information from the past. Both of these planets are in retrograde that affects leaders and groups, and there's a conflict between the two, and there is something that is about to be shared with us, and there is somebody, some leader that has to make peace with the people. Lots of different scenarios for that to show up. And then, of course, we've already talked about this conflict about relationships and what certain leaders want and what their partner may want from them. So there is this conflict brewing, but there's also this support on the outside that says Mercury and Mars are working together and coming up with a big idea on what to do with this information related to the past. And then, of course, when you have Mars and Pluto in partnership, Pluto working with Saturn, there is something very big underway. And that's why I feel like this weekend, more the story, more information is coming to the surface that is going to help us in the long run start to dissolve some of this conflict that is really weighing us down at this time. So that is what we're seeing on Saturday. And then we have, of course, the full moon in the sign of Aquarius at the same time as this big news, this big opportunity is being released. So, like I said, there's this tremendous culmination of energy and opportunity aligned with a full moon in the sign that rules we the people, information, the internet, innovative energy, Epstein, I keep saying that, Einstein energy comes up at this time as well. So let me pause this for a second and adjust this so you can see it more clearly. All right, so the other piece of information, of course, on Saturday, besides the big envelope that's being opened with the information that we need, is the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius energy, of course, is the 11th house. It is ruled by Uranus. This is energy that is freedom seeking. It's unique, it's original, it's quirky, it's weird, it's strange. And it's all of those things that unite us, that bring people together. This can be where you want to launch some kind of a service group, some kind of way to help society. This is we the people energy. And in order to succeed, to bring people together, of course, you have to have good leadership skills. And that's what the sun in Leo is doing, right? So the sun in Leo is shining a light on the moon in order for this idea of yours to come to completion and come to fullness. And so, of course, anybody who has planets at these 16 degrees of the signs of Aquarius and Leo will feel this more strongly. This strong desire to complete and fulfill a dream and a goal that has been maybe sitting beneath the surface. But with all of the activations this week, especially because the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is involved in this kite and in this minor triangle and in this Grand Air Trine, the more unique your idea is, the better chance it has of succeeding at this time. It also isn't something that you have to do on your own. This Aquarius energy is your friends and your networking groups. So this could be a time where you are finding your tribe, where you belong, where you fit in. For some, it could be realizing you don't fit in anymore somewhere and it's time to leave. Because that's what that Uranus energy will do. It will inspire you to break free from anywhere that you are a part of something that just doesn't align with your dreams anymore. Because that's the influence of this Neptune and Aries, right? What's your dream? Is this your dream? Was this what you imagined when you started doing whatever this is, however many years or months ago? And if it doesn't align anymore, then you're going to use this energy to move on from it. You're going to use all the information that's coming in. You're going to feel into the tension. You're going to learn what you need to learn from the past 3 weeks of this Mercury retrograde, and you're going to take what you've learned, face your fears, and conclude whatever this dream and goal is that you had for yourself. Now, this could be from 6 months ago when we had that new moon in Aquarius, and now you're ready to bring that to completion as well. Now, you'll notice there's a lot of stuff going on around this full moon, but nothing else is really directly aspecting it in any way. So it stands on its own, and we look at Uranus, as we already have, to get more information into what may be going on at the time of this full moon. The only thing that we have going on is a loose connection back here to Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, which is getting ready to do its annual happy dance with Venus. And so they're meeting at what we call in conjunct to this. So this is a unexpected opportunity that helps you complete whatever this goal is. You have to trust your intuition. You have to let go of a little bit of your safety and comfort zone, because that's what that Cancer energy shows you. So again, there's so much going on at the time of this full moon that you have to be open to change. So let's look at the breakdown by sign. And I cannot stress enough how doing a reading at this time with me will be really helpful, especially because we have so much that is continuing to change. But these next few months in particular stand out to me as where we're finally, again, starting to see a little bit more of this bigger picture. And as we are starting to head into eclipse season in September, these next few new moons and full moons, it's important to finish the work, get things going that you've meant to get going, and not to sit around waiting for things to happen. This is not the time. And as soon as that weird, unique opportunity gets presented to you, don't sit on it. Don't question it. Just follow it through. Investigate it. That's what you're supposed to be doing, especially anything related to the past, because of course, this Mercury energy, it's slowing down, getting ready to station to go direct, which means big energy is kicking up. As planets change direction, they change the speed, and there's a lot of momentum and energy. And of course, Mercury is communication, Leo is leadership. So there's all kinds of stuff coming up, and you want to pay attention to what matters most to you. So what should matter most to you if you are Aries? This is happening in your 11th house. How do we know that? We're just following the whole sign houses to make it easier to forecast. And there's no way I can go into all the details of all the points of the kite. There's too much. But generically speaking, we can talk about how this is your 11th house from Aries. You start at the number 1, 12 going backwards is Pisces, and 11 is Aquarius. So in your 11th house, well, it's all the things we just talked about, Aries. This is an opportunity for you to find your tribe, complete a project where you work with a large group of people, and let your leadership skills, that of course you have, shine as you complete whatever this is. This can be a time where you want to be of service to other people and really make a difference in the world. So while you have a whole lot of energy and attention focused on you right now, Aries, it's actually time for you to pay attention to the other people in your life and leverage them to help you complete whatever this goal it is you have for you and others, and making a big difference in the world. Then we have the sign of Taurus. Taurus, this for you is happening in your 10th house. Now, the 10th house is all about your career, your fame, your notoriety, what you are most known for, especially right now. And so your genius can be on display with the help of the energy of Aquarius. You may be completing again a major project with the organization that you work for at this time. If it's something technology based, then you're ready to complete it, and maybe you're ready to launch your own website. You could be creating your own app. Anything to do with technology and uniting people through the work that you do is possible at this time. Now, it also is possible at this time that you realize the work that you're doing is no longer fulfilling and you want to get the heck out of Dodge. And so what's happened in the week leading up to this is all of this information has been brought to your attention, and the different opportunities have been exposed to you. And so because of that, you may realize there's something better for you and you want to break free from the career that you've been in for so long. And people might think you're crazy, but do it if it's calling to you. And then we have Geminis. And Gemini, for you, this is happening in your 9th house. So this can be a goal associated with higher learning for you. Maybe you are signing up to do classes that you will just take over the internet, and maybe you're at a phase that you're ready to complete part of your education. So the 9th house does rule higher education. This can also be a spiritual calling for you of some kind. And if you happen to live overseas, this could be the end of the time spent there, because the 9th house also rules foreign people and foreign places, foreign language. This could be a great time to sign up to do something to help people in a foreign country. This is a fellow air sign for you. So this completion is in alignment with your energy as well. And of course, you've got your ruler, Mercury, in retrograde. So this could be even a connection with somebody from a foreign country from your past that comes back up to your attention at this time. And you realize you have something even bigger to share with the world. And now would be the great time to do that. Then we move on to the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancers, for you, this happens in your 8th house, the house of death, rebirth, transformation. But it also rules our intimate relationships and money that comes to us from other people. So this would be a great time to pursue a grant in the field of electronics and science, even astrology, because Uranus does rule over astrology as well. And it could be the fact that you end up with a benefactor of some kind, another Aquarius theme, that reaches out to you unexpectedly throughout this week and wants to invest in you and your big ideas so that you can, again, make a difference in the world somehow, some way, with whatever your dream is. So this can be, again, a time where money comes to you in unexpected ways, another Uranus theme that you didn't create directly. It can be inheritances, missing funds from somewhere that you forgot about years ago. Just unexpected money can be coming your way. So might not hurt to go spend $1 or $2 on a lottery ticket right now too, Cancer. So let me know what shows up for you. And then, of course, we have Leos. And Leos, especially those in the middle of the degrees of Leo, have somewhat of a challenge. The sun, of course, is shining a light on you, which you love. And, of course, the sun is strong in the sign of Leo. It's home. And then there is this obstacle, this pressure from the people that are important to you in your life, because this is your 7th house. These are your marriage partners, your serious friendships, your business partners, and there's some goal that you have together that is ready to be completed. And you can shine a light on the group's success and still feel valued. Now, for some, this can be about ending a relationship or a partnership because, again, you realize that their values and your values no longer align, and you feel this strange desire to break free and to end things. So just a word of caution if this is you and you don't want to just completely self-sabotage a relationship, then it's the time to open up the dialogue with your partner and figure out ways where you can have more freedom and more independence in the relationship, but still honor the relationship. So just be careful, but whatever it is for you as far as marriage and business goes, again, remember all the information has been coming up this entire week for you. And if your dream is to get married and or have a business partnership, then you may surprisingly be interacting with people this week that share the same dream and suddenly show up in your life unexpectedly, and it could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship. Next, we have Virgos. So Virgo, this for you is in your 6th house, which is Virgo energy. So this is something that you feel very comfortable with and align with fairly easily. Now, you could be, again, completing a project at work that's technology driven. That's a project where everybody's been coming together to get this work completed. And now it's going to get launched and it is going to be a huge success. But before you launch it, you realize there is something that's been blocking it, and that has to be released. And it could be the thing that's blocking it, right, is this North Node and South Node. It's faded, but once you're able to let it go, to have faith, maybe even just letting your kite go and fly high is part of this process. So some things that can come to an end, of course, work projects, work goals that you have for yourself can be achieved. Maybe it's time for you to stop working solo and having complete control over everything and start joining and working with a new group of people. And if that's the case, then throughout this week leading up to this point, you're going to start having conversations with these people that are inviting you to become a part of their group. So lots of good opportunity for you, Virgos. And keep doing the work of that South Node. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Purge, purge, purge. So that you feel like a whole new person by the time we get to next July. And this little South Node gets out of your sign. And hello, Leo. We have work to do. All right. Let's move on to Libras. Libra, this is happening in your 5th house. So this is the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about. It could be a hobby. And if that hobby has something to do with you being on the internet, then this is the time for it to maybe have a big major breakthrough, because you're definitely attracting in the right groups of people. And with this energy of this kite in your sign with that Mars energy, especially you early born or early degree Libra energies, you should be feeling something this week that's even lifting you up off the ground and opening your heart and inspiring you and motivating you to take that hobby of yours and launch it and turn it into something even more. And this is your fifth house. It could have something to do with your children. It could have something to do with romance. And since this Uranus energy also rules the internet, maybe it's time for you to dip your toe back out there, or at least go join in with groups of people that also share your same hobbies. And by doing that, you might meet somebody really important and enjoy a new romance. Next, we have Scorpios. And Scorpio, for this is your fourth house of home and family. So if you have been searching for a home, that could finally come to an end now, and you are ready to settle and sign the contract. Although Mercury's not quite finished with its retrograde, so if you can hold off until after the 11th to sign any formal commitments, maybe you're just now finally finding your dream home, and just like I said, wait a few days before you sign any contracts. It also can help you complete projects at home. Let's say you're working on rewiring your home. Well, this would be the greatest time for you to finish that work. This could have you reconnecting with family members from the past, even ancestors. So it's a good time to do that deep work where we connect with the storyline of our ancestors and bring any storylines to an end that no longer align with who you are. Just because your ancestors did it doesn't mean it applies to you anymore. And that Uranus energy can help you break free from that storyline. Now, for some of you, you're going to suddenly move out where you've been living, no longer serves you, and you're on your way and nothing's going to hold you back. So anything to do with home and family and moving is on the plate. But again, throughout this week, you're getting notification. Maybe you'll get notification that you have to move, and you shouldn't stress about it. Whatever opportunities are showing up for you right now, they're meant to be. So just go with the flow. Next, we have, of course, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is in your third house. Now, third house energy can feel a little confining for Sagittariuses. And so if you have been feeling that way, if you've been feeling kind of stuck and trapped in places that feel too small, whether it's the community that you live in, the community group that you work with, something to do with your family and friends, then this energy is going to help you get out of that situation. It can also help you complete anything that you've been working on as far as studying, maybe even getting your teacher certification. Then this would be a great time for you to finish that. Or maybe you've been looking for a teaching position, and that opportunity can open up for you at this time. This is all about communication and transportation. So there is all of those things are possible that can come to completion and fullness for you at this time. Next, we have Capricorn. So good news, Capricorn, is this is happening in your second house of the money you make. So of course you're all about that. And this can bring a new job opportunity to you. It can again help you complete a project at the job that you are currently in, and there would be a financial benefit to you as a result of completing this work, especially if you've been doing this work with others and the work you've been doing makes a difference in the world. Then you can have more money come your way, because the second house is all about the money that you make. And so a full moon completion in this area can bring money your way. Now, again, though, you're another sign where you may decide the work that you're doing no longer suits you and you're not aligned with it, and you're going to suddenly up and quit. You also could get a surprise offer or invitation from somebody unexpectedly that you knew in the past that reaches out and gives you this new big opportunity. So remember, all of this energy, all of these formations, all of the tension, facing your fears, when you do that, the opportunity ends up being more incredible than you ever expected it to be. So it's not a time to be afraid. It's a time to face your fears and go after what it is that you love and what you dream about as far as the money that you make. Next, we have, of course, Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is you. This is your first house. This is you completing a dream and a goal that you have for yourself. And there is something about your partners that are shining a light on you and your ability to achieve whatever this is for yourself. The first house is the self. It is how you represent yourself to other people. If you have a business that's on the internet, this would be a great time for you to review and revise and revamp your image. And then at the time of this full moon, do a soft launch, because we still have Mercury retrograde, to get feedback about all the changes that you're making from a small group of people, your friends, that can give you feedback on this new image that you're about to share with the world and for yourself before you do a big hard launch after the 11th, once Mercury is ready to move forward. You also might really shock and surprise people and chop off all your hair, make it purple. You can have some crazy changes going on. But again, your friends will expect that of you because you are Aquarian in nature and you always follow the beat of your own drum. And if you haven't been lately, this is a chance for you again to get back to who you really truly are and get aligned with that energy. And so again, follow all the clues that are coming in for you this week on what you need to conclude at this time, and then watch out. Finally, we have Pisces. Pisces, this is a true ending of some kind, because this is also in your 12th house. And the 12th house is, of course, the end of the zodiac. So this is a major conclusion. Now, the 12th house is things that are hidden beneath the surface. It's large institutions like hospitals. It can have to do with healing. So there could be something coming up for you. Maybe you have a surgery coming up for you at this time. That is the end of a really long journey. When I look at this Aquarius symbols, it makes me think of the intestines. So it can also be electronic things going on with the nerves in your body. Something around healing is definitely possible at this time. You also could be deciding to break free from a large institution where you feel stuck and trapped and not able to accomplish your dreams. So whatever the journey is for you, Pisces, remember to let go of worry and lean into your faith, and then what is meant to be will be, and you'll be able to accept it peacefully. All right, everybody, just some possibilities. Like I said, there is so much going on during this full moon with all of these energetic connections, and we probably didn't even talk about every single one of them, including the South Node speaking in conjunct to the moon. I mean, there's just so much detail that it would take hours for me to cover everything. But I can do that with you in a one-on-one session where we do break it all down. So just remember to trust your gut, where you're being guided, and especially to allow the weird, strange things in right now. Because there's a reason, like I said, there's things that are working behind the scenes to help you navigate through the energy this year and to end the things and let them go that you're not supposed to be a part of anymore. So this may be a big step forward for a lot of you and feel a little crazy, but go with it. All right, we will wrap up the week, of course, here on Sunday. And you're not going to see a whole lot of changes, except that that moon's going to dip into the sign of Pisces, of course, which the moon enjoys being there. It is a great couple of days to, again, focus in on your intuition and how you're being guided. And then you're going to see the sun start to activate its odd storyline with the north node. So that moon at the full moon was having the conversation at a weird angle with the south node. Now that sun's having it with the north node. So all I can keep stressing is everything that is happening right now is at the hands of fate. So show up and meet the energy and trust the process and go with the changes that are showing up for you now. We also will see on Sunday more information, more energy from Mercury as it truly stations to go direct now. So there could be big speeches. There could be a lot of leaders who are talking loudly and saying nothing. So just take it all with a grain of salt and wait for Mercury to move forward. And then we're really going to see the truth start to come out and then know what we want to do about it. All right, that is the whole week. And then next week, we have some blessings finally coming our way out of all of this crazy intensity. We will see on Monday Venus and Jupiter meet together. We always say this is a blessed time, can be a very emotional time as well. And always be careful that you're not overindulging. But I do expect a big feeling kind of day because of the fact that the moon in Pisces still will also be speaking in harmony with this energy of the two benefic planets coming together. So hopefully this is a really feel good day for us. I think in part it will be because of the fact that the Mercury retrograde will be over. Yay, Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you, but my energy level was like sub-zero during this whole Mercury retrograde and the fact that Mars was in slow Virgo. So I'm hoping that by the time we get to this week, the energy lightens up and the pace feels less heavy, and maybe we can start enjoying a little bit more of the fun element that is aligned with Mercury and the sun going through the sign of Leo. So we will be here to talk about that, of course, next week. So make sure again that you've subscribed. Hopefully you found value in what I shared with you, and either you can book a session with me or at least come back and watch me next week break down the details of the energy ahead. And make sure you tune in and follow me every day, because I post a tarot card every day, and with it I give you a little bit more detail about whatever's going on astrologically for the day as well. So it's a quick 1-minute video that can help you just be tuned in, and I try to be motivational with the information that I'm sharing, and so you'll want to tune in and listen there as well. Of course, I'm on the TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube Shorts, so wherever speaks to you and wherever you're watching this now, tune in. Of course, you can also go to my website, MaraleeBurnett.com, and access the same information. In fact, every week I send out a detailed list of everything that's important for you to know that week, including the links to any articles, any of these videos that I've created that I think are especially important for you to tune into and pay attention. All right, guys, thank you again for tuning in this week. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your comments and liking and sharing my work, and definitely thank you for coming to work with me. I certainly appreciate it. All right, guys, have an amazing week ahead. I hope there's lots of happy surprises, and definitely let me know what those are, and then we'll talk again next week. Bye, everybody.